You are organism. This much is true. We scientists have only identified 45 organisms on Earth so far. Somehow
I'm sorry. I love this scientist that sounds like the Sesame Street count. 45 organisms.
1, 2 organisms, 3 organisms,
Sorry, please continue.
45 organisms.
Welcome to Monsters Conquer the World. I'm Matt. I'm joined by Ralph.
Hello.
And this is a podcast where Ralph and I yak about monster stuff. This time we're diving back into the icy undersea realm of real ? Monsters. It's a cryptid.
No,
Ralph.
yeah, I'm actually on board for this one being 100% real.
Shit, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
So, Ralph, we have you on record saying that you 100% believe in organism 46B.
The killer squid
Yes.
that's poisonous and is also working for Putin.
It does, in fact, work for Vladimir Putin and has 14 arms. And a whole lot of superpowers. We're going to get into it. This is another cryptid episode. And unlike Bigfoot, which was a fucking ancient folkloric tradition, this is kind of the new kid on the block.
This is a really interesting cryptid. It's tied up in a lot of things.
Yes.
I'm fascinated by this being an internet cryptid.
Yes.
Like, no one went out in their backyard and saw this cryptid.
Right.
It's in Antarctica. No one's there.
Yeah.
It's just they read an article about a cryptid, and now they're like, this is it. This is real.
Look out.
Yeah. It's the most internet cryptid ever. So you have a lot to explain with this one, right?
Oh, yeah. No, and we found some... found some like very telling information vis-a-vis this mysterious creature.
Well, I'm interested to hear this actually because I did a lot of research on this too, but I think you probably dug up some things that I didn't come across.
We have a good way of kind of hitting different zones.
We do.
I like it. It's almost like we're running a podcast or something.
Almost like we have very different personalities and we see different. We assign different importance to different parts of the story.
Yeah. I don't particularly buy that, but that's one theory.
Whatever. Who cares?
I do want to say, because this is exciting, I'm jazzed to talk about this, but I do want to pump the brakes here just for a quick second.
Sure.
Before we make like the ill-fated scientists on Dr. Padalka's research team and fully go under, let's give a quick thanks to our amazing patrons. I'm talking about Chelsea. I'm talking about Shelly. I'm talking about Riccio.
Yep.
You complete us.
Y'all do that.
So kind of want to this is an interesting cryptid to talk about because there's a UK publication.
Mm-hmm.
Some would maybe call it a tabloid or like, a trashy rag.
Well,
but I like to call it the bleeding edge of journalism.
It has an integrity of some sort.
Correct.
Right.
The Daily Express. The UK's Daily Express.
Okay. I initially read this on disclose.tv.
So I think one of my big sources was beforeitsnews.com. That was a good one.
Yeah. Okay.
Did
cool.
you hit that one?
No.
Oh, okay.
But that's just a good name for what this is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's the one that we'll get into that. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read verbatim this very potent piece of reporting.
Okay.
From the Daily Express.
And I will shut my trap.
Well, or you can talk. It's a discussion.
No, I want to hear this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this might sound familiar, Ralph.
Okay.
Here's the headline. Is 14-legged killer squid found 2 miles That was all caps. Beneath Antarctica being weaponized by Putin. A killer. Again, when I yell, it's all caps.
Easy on the microphone.
Oh, sorry. Some of this is all caps.
If you're going to yell, just back up.
I shall. Thank
okay.
you. A killer.
Not like that.
Oh, oops.
Just this.
I see.
Okay.
A killer giant squid that can hypnotize its prey and paralyze humans at a distance of 150 feet using poisonous venom is being developed as a secret weapon by Vladimir Putin, a scientist has claimed. Dr. Anton Padalka claims he was part of a Russian scientific expedition to a subterranean lake in the Arctic that discovered the terrifying creature known as Organism 46B. He said their discovery at Lake Vostok was covered up by Russian officials who are now looking at ways to weaponize and breed the deadly squid with potentially devastating effects. Dr. Padalka said the squid, which was discovered in a freshwater lake trapped beneath 2 miles of ice, possessed an array of weapons.
Funny about that 2 miles of ice. We'll get to it later.
Yes, we will. An array of weapons and was responsible for the deaths of at least 2 of his scientific colleagues on the expedition. Giving details which sounded like the script of a B-movie horror film, which they did say B-movie horror film. That full phrase, said, quote, we encountered, I'm not going to do an accent. I'm sorry.
I'll try it. I want to see it.
See what you can do, Ralph.
Let me see here. We encountered Organism 46B on our first day. It disabled our radio, which we later learned to our alarm was intentional.
Very good, Ralph.
I tried my best.
Yeah. It is also able to paralyze prey from a distance of up to 150 feet by releasing its venom into the water. Tragically, my colleague and lifelong friend was killed this way. He tread water wearing a blissful smile as the organism approached him. Do you want to give those a crack?
Blissful smile?
Well, it's part of the hypnotism.
I kind of don't.
Okay, fair enough. We watched.
I forgot he was a hypnotist. I'm sorry. I didn't.
Yeah, Organism 46B has a lot of layers.
He's got so many skills.
A lot of powers. Kind of the Superman of cryptids, where it can just do everything.
Yeah. From week to week, whatever they need it to do.
Whatever
they
power.
Just add it on.
I think, there's another article where they talk about how the octopus does rip the emblem off its chest and throw it at its prey, trapping them in like weird cellophane before they fall off a cliff. We watched helplessly as it used its arms to tear off its head. They call the scientist an it, which, great reporting.
Did they?
Yeah. We watched helplessly as it used its arms to tear off its head.
Yeah, these are really well written.
This scientist's very good friend, he starts referring to as it. Tear off its head, then popped its remains in its mouth. It was as if it had hypnotized him telepathically. The 33-foot-long man-eater also boasts extraordinary camouflage that helped it stalk the researchers, including shape-shifting. Dr. Padalka said, the shape-shifting capabilities of Organism 46B sound almost diabolical.
Almost,
not quite. It shaped itself into the form of a human diver. We thought it was one of my colleagues swimming towards us in scuba gear. By the time the closest scientist has realized what it was, it had grabbed him and torn him to bits. He revealed the octopus. Didn't it used to be a squid? Now it's an octopus?
Yeah, they go back and forth.
He revealed the octopus.
Same thing.
Right. Sure, exactly
14
the same.
legs.
Yep.
Just like an octopus.
Actually, I was doing a little Google translating, and a 14-legged quote-unquote octopus would actually be a quadrodectopus.
Okay.
So
that was Google Translate that you used for
that? I looked up Latin number stuff.
Yeah, okay.
It's a quadrodectopus. Okay, guys, get it right or pay the price. He revealed the octopus could also use its tentacles to kill even after they had been hacked off its body.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Dr. Padalka claimed another of his colleagues were killed by a tentacle many hours later. This is written in such a weird way. It's
badly written. I've read it. Exactly what you're reading, I've read.
It's hard to process. Yeah. Dr. Padalka claimed another of his colleagues were killed by a tentacle many hours after slicing it off with an axe. He said, later that night, it slithered across the ice bank and strangled her. After 5 days battling...
Fuck her. Fuck all these guys.
Ralph, they battled a super octopus,
they
okay?
entered the octopus's home. The
octopuses are super smart. Like,
yeah,
maybe we should treat them as sovereign creatures.
This is just the arrogance of man, you know?
I mean, you might be joking, but like, kind of, dude. They're really smart.
Yeah,
they use tools and stuff. They're like a real octopuses are like brain-wise, they're on par with like a caveman. After 5 days battling the animal, the remaining scientists finally trapped organism 46B in a tank. They brought it to the surface, but were shocked when it was seized by Russian officials, who told the waiting international press nothing had been found. Dr. Padalka fled the country and raised the alarm this week after he claimed to have discovered Mr. Putin's plan to use the animal as a military weapon.
I see.
He warned these plans and any possible plans to breed more of the creatures could prove devastating. He said, some species of octopus lay 200,000 eggs. Imagine if they were deposited in reservoirs and lakes across North America. End article.
Imagine it.
Shocking stuff, guys. A real news outlet reported that.
So that is the first that I could find.
Same. That's like the main. If you look up organism 46B, that's like that Daily Express article is one of the first things you'll find.
Yes. I love this creature because it is just like somebody just started writing and just kept going.
Interesting that you mentioned
like
that.
7 paragraphs and then that's it.
Yeah.
And didn't edit, you know?
Yeah, no, they can't seem to decide on what the creature is, if it's a squid or an octopus, which there are several like important differences there.
Right.
Yeah, it sounds like something out of a horror B movie, and it's like, gee, I wonder why. Is it because that you're writing B horror right now and passing it off as a real thing? But here's the thing. So this popped off in a big way in like, I want to say 2016 is when it really started picking up steam.
Yeah.
To the point where my folks, who we've talked about a little bit, they like to dabble in the conspiracies, and there's certain flavors of conspiracy that I think speak to them. They're Area 51 fans, and they are proponents of what Eisenhower met with aliens, right? That's the U.S. president that usually gets like.
I didn't really hear that one start to finish.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, that ties into a whole larger world, and another Antarctica conspiracy theory that my folks were big on, again in 2016 or so, was this story that the world's leaders were being mysteriously summoned to Antarctica for some kind of secret meeting
by reptilians.
But yeah, it's either reptilians or greys, depending on your source and their theories and that kind of stuff. And there are other things too. There's supposedly a secret Nazi base in Antarctica. Yeah,
of course. Well, what else is down there?
Well, Ralph,
just the Nazis. Right?
I'm so glad you asked. Yeah. Antarctica, I didn't realize this. It's like a hotbed for conspiracy, almost on par with like Area 51.
Yeah,
and
it is.
There's like 5 different secret Nazi base conspiracies. One of the recurring themes is that Antarctica houses the entrance to the Hollow Earth.
Yep, I've heard that.
Right? And so that's why the one of the theories was that the Nazis built the secret base there so they could have like a direct connection to the inhabitants of the Hollow Earth, which are, again, depending on the reading, either aliens or a super advanced like indigenous earth-dwelling species, basically like Atlantis people.
Uh-huh.
So
in those stories, are the Nazis taking ideas from the reptilians? Are the Nazis the bad guys in those stories?
The Nazis are the bad guys in
Okay.
those stories. One of the stories is in regard, like it involves some actual nuclear weapons testing that happened there. There were like 3 nukes detonated there, and one of the pulpier, more cinematic conspiracy theories is that the British SAS was down there fighting the Nazis and fighting their super weapons that they have down there. Yeah,
put 'em up, you.
Put them up, Jerry.
Yeah.
And the Nazis come out of the ground, flying UFOs and shit and shooting death rays. And so the Brits are like, okay, nuke 'em, boys. And it's like,
you're doing the American voice, but still, it's
well,
funny.
yeah, I'm bad at
still
accents.
funny to me.
Good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's base 211 or base 211. If you want to hear like 5 different, wildly different conspiracy theories about Nazis in Antarctica, that's your source. Sadly, for whatever reason, the old Nazis didn't encounter any super octopuses. I don't know. I guess Antarctica's really big.
It must be a recent thing.
Yeah. And I'll kind of cap off the Nazi talk.
Yeah.
Because there is like an eensy weensy sliver of truth there, in that the Nazis did send one boat of surveyors to Antarctica to scout out whaling territory.
Right. That's the thing about Antarctica is there's nothing happening there, which is what draws scientists there.
Right. The fact that it is so remote and such an extreme climate is why it's being studied.
Right, but to be like, oh, yeah, there's a secret base down there. It's like, probably not. As far as for military purposes, like you couldn't go farther away from anything.
Right.
Anyway, what?
Well, it's just interesting because the main reason, the main like real life reason why Antarctica spawns all these conspiracy theories and things is because it's so remote and so isolated. But there's this thought, and I saw a few different articles kind of push this idea that it's illegal for a regular citizen to go to Antarctica.
What?
Right. Yeah. That like it's off limits. It's under wraps by the government. The government won't let you go there. And it's like, no, you can go there. It's just hard to get there and sucks.
It's expensive. No airlines go there. It's like
you could arrange that, but it would be a huge pain in the ass. But for whatever reason, that's mutated into the government won't let you.
Plus,
and of course that idea spawns so much conspiracy shit.
Yeah. But you would not want to go there.
No, you'd fucking die.
Right.
The closest thing I could find to the government being like, don't go there, the closest thing I could find to that was that like you have to sterilize your boots before you step onto the surface because they want to keep it pristine for science.
The reason, yeah, exactly. That is, and that comes into play later.
Yes, it does. Please don't contaminate Antarctica, guys.
Right.
It's important.
This is a place we go for science. We take it very seriously. Don't mess it up.
And we don't take it seriously because of all the super squids and Nazis.
Right. The scientists that were down there drilling,
because Lake Vostok is a real underground freshwater body of water. It's amazing.
It's real, and they were just trying to get through, just poke through just enough to have some kind of access to Lake Vostok, because they wanted to see if that there were other life forms, growing down there that were not like anything that we've ever seen before. But they were talking about like microbes.
Yes. Not a fucking city bus
the
size
difference between,
squid.
Like picture these scientists going down there and with like pickaxes and then just like smacking the ice with these things, and then they make it a big old fucking hole.
Yeah.
Like a mile wide hole, and the water's just like right there, like right underneath the surface of the ice, and an octopus pops out or whatever they are picturing, and like
what I love
grabs one of them, you know,
and rips his head off.
Yeah.
Or I love this. Hey, Ralph, we're jumping in the water in Antarctica. I can just do that in my swimming trunks, right?
Right. That's another part of it. Like someone just jives in.
Just hops in. Uh-oh, I hope there's no poison in the water that scrambles my brain.
You can barely be alive there.
Yeah.
There's everything there is trying to kill you.
Yes.
And then you're just like,
air is trying to kill you.
It's time to go for a little dip.
Well, maybe there was a hot lady scientist who jumped in first.
Oh, wow.
Wow. And then Dr. Anton Padalka was like, hubba.
Oh, zoinks.
I better go swimming with her. We're skinny dipping, right, guys?
Right. So yeah, that's what people picture. It's just like, oh yeah, they break through the ice. It's like ice fishing. There's just water in there.
Right.
But it's like there's 2 miles.
And the article did mention that it's under 2 miles of ice, which is interesting. It's interesting to me that they threw out that fact.
And yet they didn't think like, oh, we're going to dive in, but we're going to dive 2 miles to get to water.
Through pitch black ice cave that you just drilled.
And it's just death down there waiting for you. If you fall 2 miles onto any kind of body of water, you're fucking dead.
You're done. Let alone some of the coldest water that is liquid on Earth.
Yeah, and you get to think about how stupid you are on the way down.
Yes. Oh, I've made a huge mistake. Well, this was great to research because of the real. I mean, I like the conspiracy theories too. Those are interesting, but the real science is very exciting to me because one of the reasons people are so interested in Lake Vostok is there's reason to believe that it's the closest environment on Earth to Jupiter's moon Europa, which is
mostly ice.
It's mostly ice with
water.
Liquid oceans underneath the ice.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so interesting. There's also
and it's so isolated. Just you don't know what's going to be in there,
right?
And what their concern when they were drilling through this was they kind of just didn't want to go too far, and they were concerned about oils on the drill contaminating the lake,
which unfortunately did happen,
right?
Because they initially drilled in the 90s and they were doing a geological drill, so because they didn't think there would be anything down there, so they didn't sterilize anything. So the oils and shit did get into Lake Vostok,
right,
contaminating the whole sample,
right. So we have all of our shit mixed in with all of this. It possibly could have been a huge find.
Yeah. Yeah, it was potentially an untouched, radically different ecosystem, and whatever living things we find down there now are a byproduct of the shit we accidentally put down there.
Yeah, possibly. I mean,
possibly,
it
might not be
side by side with these other things, but
right.
But also, it's just kind of fun that like they were looking for like the tiniest little creatures that they could find that could be called living things.
Yes.
Yeah. And someone hears that story and they're like, no, it was a squid or an octopus or something.
They're the same thing.
Right.
And it's huge.
And it
has
shapeshifts.
Psychic powers.
And then shapeshifted into a lady.
A hot lady.
Yeah.
With big boobs.
But that's fully an internet thing where it's like actual science happened and then someone heard about it and just went type, and then posted it, and then everyone was like, "Did you hear about Antarctica?"
Or, Ralph,
what?
This is the best investigative journalism we've ever encountered, and Putin just doesn't want us to know about it.
Right?
You ever think about that?
Right.
You ever think about that?
Did you find the original like author or anything?
I did.
You did?
Did you?
No.
Okay. So we. So I am going to pull the curtain back and maybe show you how the sausage is made. So when I was doing some research, I was doing some hunting around on this because as a monster fan, as somebody who wants this shit to be, maybe not this one. This would suck if this was real.
Legit would be terrible.
We would be in real bad shape. This is the ultimate killing machine.
I don't need to deal with a shape-shifting octopus.
I don't need to deal with the shape-shifting anything.
Why was it an octopus in the first place?
Well, I can't offer you this is what they said. My thought is octopuses and squids and things are very alien as far as like things we share the planet with. And then also you have like Cthulhu, all the Lovecraft stuff. I would bet that's why they landed on octopus.
Okay.
And also like, I don't know, if you're creating a sea monster, you can't really do like a plesiosaur, like Loch Ness Monster kind of thing. You can't really do a Godzilla. A whale or something is not going to be scary. Octopuses in real life are weird enough and dangerous and smart. So it seems like kind of a natural upgrade, I guess.
My question is really, since this thing can shapeshift into anything at all, why do they think that an octopus is what it is?
Oh,
why wouldn't...
Ralph, I think the question you've just asked is smarter than any element of the story. Right. Well, and the story also conveniently glosses over how the scientists managed to lock it in a box.
Right. Like it's just like, we locked it in a box. It's like child stories. Like you skip all the actual relevant points and you just say, you're locked in a box now.
We won. The good guys win. Right. So I started out by searching for Dr. Anton Pawelka, and all I could find was other links to the Organism 46B story. It's very mysterious. Snopes didn't have anything either, so I got to submit it to Snopes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I felt kind of cool about that.
This podcast is finally serving a purpose.
We did it. Yeah. We're helping mankind. Like we kind of talked about at the top, I think the biggest source for this story is that Daily Express article, and that dropped in November of 2016. And that was the source that they list on that article is that beforeitsnews.com, which is a let's call it like a conspiracy theory blog, or just an alternate venue for unverified information. Maybe that's you'll find things like stories about angels and all kinds of interesting stuff. What's that?
Bat Boy.
Maybe Bad Boy.
Bat Boy.
Oh, Bat Boy. Yes.
Bad Boy. Hell of a cryptid.
Tell me about Bad Boy.
He's a real bad boy.
He's so bad. Ralph, thank you so much for knowing about Bat Boy. That's a thing I reference a lot, and most people are like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's like Weekly World News,
I read a lot of Weekly World News back in the day. Probably a huge shock to you.
Explains a lot.
So Daily Express took it from beforeitsnews.com, and beforeitsnews.com posted it in 2016, and they got the story from forsythstories.com, which posted it in 2012. Interesting thing about forsythstories.com, it's a fiction author's blog where he writes fake stories.
So they took the fake story?
Yes.
And just posted it.
Yes. And it's
oh my God, it's worse than I thought.
Yeah, I thought you would like that, Ralph. It's the lazy college senior thing of, I'm just going to copy this and not change it. Because there are
fucking believable.
There are stretches of, because it's written so weirdly, and there's whole chunks that are just unchanged from source to source. Like they just copied and pasted it.
When I read the Disclosed.tv one, it was the same thing that you read to me.
Yeah.
Word for word.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, this is weird, and people click on it.
What's even more offensive is someone called themselves an author and wrote that.
It's pretty rough, right?
Terrible.
It's not great. And I think the language on the author's version is even wackier. Like they refer to the scientists as the eggheads and shit like that. So
come on.
I guess the other sources were at least smart enough to like weed out that very silly prose. But Yeah, I don't think organism 46B is real. And that's coming from someone who desperately wants most of this shit to be real.
It's just, why do people think it's real?
Because I think it's because as people who are not from the UK, we see dailyexpress.co.uk. Looks kind of like a legit newspaper. We see that. We see this crazy story and start passing it around. And don't think, since it looks like a legit publication, you might not think to dig deeper.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what? Okay, here's what I was thinking about this. To believe this story, you must believe in a shape-shifting octopus.
Sure. Which there are, I don't know if all octopuses can do this, but there are at least several species that can not just change color, but they can change their texture. It's pretty amazing. They really can look like a coral reef, as a random example.
But the story being, you shapeshift into a woman, I think?
One of the scientists. I posited that maybe it's a hot booby scientist, but it's just a diver.
No, I think I read somewhere that there was one of those stories. It was like, oh, it transformed into a woman and tricked everyone.
Oh, okay.
But, okay, so, but my question was, you have to believe in a shape-shifting squid or octopus. So, like...
Quatrodectopus.
You would have to have reason to believe in shape-shifting in the first place.
Right.
So where in nature do you see shape-shifting anything?
Well, Ralph, for that to matter, you would need to pay attention to nature or science or biology, which... I guess some people don't.
Well, you don't know what I'm saying, though.
No, I do. No, but I'm making it kind of snarkily.
Right.
But like some people don't just don't give a shit about like biology.
Well, yeah, I know that they don't. But even if you don't give a shit about biology, it's like you got to. Before I believe in shapeshifting, you got to show me at least one other thing that can shapeshift. And then I'll be like, okay, yeah. Gotcha. I'm with you.
Right. Well, this is, I think like a lot of conspiracy theories and a lot of cryptids and things, I think this is a case of people kind of coming in with a certain belief and just looking for something that confirms some version of that certain belief. So if you want to think that the scientists in Antarctica are doing something nefarious, and you see a headline that says Russian scientists find a monster, you might not click the link.
Yeah.
You might read that and just think, I fucking knew it. That figures.
It's very Russophobic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of calls back to all the old Cold War paranoia.
And when they're ahead of us scientifically.
Yeah. It speaks to a very specific demographic, I think.
It really does.
I think people like you and I look at that and go, okay, probably not. But I think certain folks look at that and go, yeah, that sounds about right.
I love the name. Like,
what do you think organisms 1 through 46A are like? It's that sci-fi thing of just picking a cold and clinical science word and then putting a random set of numbers and letters next to it.
Yeah.
That's everything about this. I want to, honestly, we shot holes through this and shit on it to death. But I still want to see the movie of this.
Right. 46B would be a great movie.
Be a dope fucking movie. And I think I think that is Mr. Forsyth's goal. His other writings include it's like Sherlock Holmes versus Genghis Khan or something. Like it's not even it doesn't really try to pass itself off as remotely realistic.
That's the thing. I don't know how anyone would look at this and believe it. But it like you said, it could just be generational, sort of. You alluded to it being generational.
And just looking at the headline and calling it a day. I know I'm guilty of that. I've done that.
Yeah.
But not when it involves a super squid.
No, when you got to look at it, first of all.
Yeah.
Are you looking something up?
I was trying to jump onto ForsythStories.com and because I know I name dropped, Sherlock Holmes versus Genghis Khan or something, but I think it's stranger than that.
Let me see.
That's like his big book. Let's give I'm sorry, Houdini versus Rasputin is his big
Can
book.
you send me that?
I sure can. There you go.
Okay.
So I did some research into this story about, and because this is another one, I remember my folks pulling me aside and being like, Matt, you got to look this up. Look up these YouTube videos. This is some real shit. And I'm like, okay, Mom and Dad, I guess I'll look. And what I found when I did some digging was the most I could find. I could not find anything on a legitimate news source that said, hey, world leaders are meeting in Antarctica, which I feel like that's some shit CNN would have something to say about. The only stuff I could find was that John Kerry visited to basically look at the effects of global warming and make a statement about that. The other thing I found was the leader of the Russian Orthodox Church visited also in 2016.
Okay.
But that was like to help build ties with the West. And like he did that after meeting with Pope Francis in Cuba. So two big deal people I could find went there for like very legitimate reasons. I couldn't find like, Obama and Bush and the British Prime Minister all secretly flew there.
They're not going to go down there. It sucks.
Yeah, no, it fucking blows. Actually, John Kerry is the highest ranking like American official to ever set foot on Antarctica. Because it's hard to get there and it fucking blows.
Right. You get there and it's, God, what is it down there? Like negative 40
it is
Fahrenheit or something?
Yeah, it is your butthole seals shut cold.
Yeah, you cannot poop for as long as you're there.
No, you have to leave.
Yeah.
That's why the scientists that are there are only there for a couple months. They have to go home and poop after a while.
One of these headline or whatever from the C. Michael Forsyth site is compromise. School shootings only okay during special hunting season.
So it's like dark satirical
It's
shit.
real bad. And and an ad apparently, or maybe not. $275 jeans are all holes, no fabric. So like, he's one of those guys.
He would like to be the Onion, I think.
Right.
And so, I think Organism 46B is kind of a goof on our fears about Russia, maybe.
Probably.
Right? Like,
partially, or maybe just thought it would be a fun story, or
why not both?
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to read one of these then.
I mean,
the bigger your butt, the more likely you are to be abducted by aliens, study shows.
I mean, that kind of tracks, right?
Yeah.
If we know anything about aliens that abduct people, it's that they are way into butt stuff.
Yeah. Females who sport oversized fannies are twice as likely to be kidnapped by aliens as their flat-bottomed counterparts. An eye-opening 6-year study reveals. Okie dokie.
Can you blame the aliens? I mean, let's be real here, fellas.
I mean, if you're gonna, ufologists are thrilled that scientists are finally getting to the bottom of the abduction phenomenon.
Okay, my opinion on this author has changed dramatically in the last 10 seconds.
Yep,
this guy seems legit.
So, see Michael Forsyth, guys. Check it out.
Yeah,
check it out.
If you want to hear the real news, okay. The shit that CNN.com won't tell you because it's too hot. All right, so Ralph, with all of that in mind, we've picked everything apart, just like Organism 46B picked apart those poor scientists.
Yeah.
Do you believe in this creature more or less than you did before we started researching it?
From the moment that you told me that your parents believed in a squid?
Yes.
Which, as much. Just the same amount.
No change.
Although I did have it wrong the first time and I thought it was a spy.
It could be. It's a shapeshifter.
In the future, it's like if Putin's gonna weaponize it.
Exactly. If he runs it through the Black Widow program, then it could be a spy. Yeah.
Right.
Could be a great fucking spy.
I don't know. The same amount. I don't believe in it at all. It's so stupid.
Hey.
So,
it's well, maybe it's stupid.
It's a stupid story. I'm not saying anything about it.
Right.
Anybody.
No, I know.
So, what do you think, Matt?
Well, I thought it was pretty far-fetched to begin with. And now that I've found the fiction author who invented it for fun, I would say I went from 0.0001% to a flat 0.
All right.
This one's bullshit, guys.
Yeah. I was definitely a 0 the whole time. I hate being that way. Like, it just kind of feels bad to be like, oh, I don't believe that at all.
No, it's fine.
This one I can do that.
This one's doo-doo. It's a poo-poo cryptid. Like, and again, like I said earlier, I guess I don't really consider it a cryptid because there's no, like you said, no sightings, no history behind this. It's just a guy wrote a story in 2012 and then a couple rags picked it up 4 years later and said, oh, look, it's news.
In order for it to be a true cryptid, you have to have people seeing it around in the wild.
Yep.
And because of, like you said, this is more of conspiracy. It's not.
Yeah. To me, this clocks more as conspiracy theory than
especially
cryptid.
since it connects to global intrigue. It's not like Bigfoot's actually kind of cool because it's just regular people going like, yeah, I saw some stuff.
There's like a down-home community aspect to cryptids, and I think that's part of why they appeal to me so much.
Yeah.
It's a homegrown monster, and that's really fucking fun and cool. And there's something organic about it.
Yeah, I love stuff like that.
It's a storytelling tradition in a very old school and natural kind of sense.
Yeah, and in that form, it's actually like fairly harmless.
Yep.
It's when you start connecting it to global intrigue, this things like this get out of hand and become actually bad. But like if you're just saying like you saw a ghost, I don't believe you, but I don't care.
Right. It doesn't hurt anyone.
You're manifesting your subconscious somehow, but like whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe it's actually helping you deal with stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
46B isn't helping anyone deal with anything.
Nope. If anything, it's just like you said, maybe helping along some Russophobia, which is not awesome.
Right. Really not chill.
And more misinformation about Antarctica, which clearly there's enough misinformation about Antarctica as is. We don't need more.
One of my biggest things about stories like this is the actual science they were doing and the concerns that they had while drilling into this ice were more interesting to me than a giant squid that shapeshifts, because that all sounds like bullshit.
Yep.
But like the sort of like tediousness that, like the mental state of a person that is drilling through ice and just doing their very fucking best not to contaminate a massive lake that could hold like life forms that we've never seen before.
The secrets to life on other planets.
Right. When some people, when they think of a life form that they've never seen before, they think of a squid.
But different.
Yeah. Yeah, but we're thinking like, no, like at a base level, like these are totally new.
Right. Yeah, like instead of a carbon-based life form, it's a nitrogen-based life form. Who knows? Or something. Yeah.
Who knows? But like, yeah, at the very least, just like have a totally different makeup than what we have.
Yeah.
But they fucked it up. So
yeah, they goofed. Like to me, that's such a like, it could be partially because it's real, but like that's a more interesting story to me, is that they're like, hey, there's this totally unique, one of a kind ecosystem, and we were trying to study it, but we fucked up.
Yeah, and it ends in like actual tragedy.
Yeah, it's like this great. I don't know, when I found that stuff out, and the more I read about it, I was like, oh, this is like a great loss. Like we really like fuck, man, that sucks.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's such a better story.
But I guess it's a more dry scientific story. It doesn't move internet tabloids like a super squid does.
Well, I guess. I don't know. If you're a big dum-dum, it doesn't work for you. Are you kidding me? A squid is more interesting than that.
Hey, apparently dailyexpress.co.uk thinks so.
I'm not going to rag on that.
Hey man, I like we said earlier, I fucking loved the Weekly World News growing up, and I was very sad because you could tell after a certain point they switched gears from Bat Boy to they kind of started doing, and this stuff was kind of in the same vein, but it started going very right wing, where they were like, Osama and Saddam Hussein have a love nest together. These bad guys are gay. Isn't that gross? Let's laugh at them.
It gets so gross. It's so bad.
It takes this turn where it's like, oh, okay, this isn't. There's some gross ulterior motives here, and I actually think Daily Express has like a similar bent. They're like anti-immigrant and stuff, and it's like, can't you just report on weird fake stuff?
Right? Can't you just be fun?
Why can't you just be fun? Exactly. Like the Inquirer used to be awesome at that, and then they pivoted into celebrity gossip, which like I guess I get it. Like you got to pay the bills and you got to keep the lights on, but it's like, what a fucking loss. Like
you're ruining lives too. I mean,
it's bad. Like
some people don't feel sorry for celebrities at all. I feel sorry for a
little bit,
a person in that position that can't leave without a story being written about them.
Right. You can't just go buy some eggs without somebody up your ass.
Yeah.
And that's not cool.
Yes, they're rich, but do they have lives?
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a whole different other kind of interesting can of worms.
It's totally different from a rich person who's like, you don't even know. Like,
right.
You know, they can just do their thing.
Yeah. Some entrepreneur, they can go vacation wherever and they won't get hounded.
That's why like most billionaires, you don't even know who they are.
Yep. Some faceless schlub. I was just going to say that gag in Men in Black where they go and buy all the Weekly World News and Inquirers and stuff. Does that joke even play anymore? Because those are all kind of gone.
Yeah. What would they even do anymore? Maybe it's in the new Men in Black. Like,
oh yeah, I didn't see that. I heard not great things.
Me too.
Which is too bad because I thought 3 was awesome.
Yeah.
I liked 3 a bunch.
You really liked 3 though?
I did.
Or wait, am I thinking of 2?
2 is
the bad one.
2 is like a beat for beat remake of 1, but bad. Yeah. 3 is like a wacky time travel story, and I was like, that's kind of fun.
2 is they recruit a lady.
Well, at the end
Dawson or something?
Oh yeah, maybe it's been a while since I've seen 2. I know 1 ends with the lady getting hired on the morgue worker.
Oh, right.
But yeah, I think 2 is Rosario Dawson. I don't know. 2 sucked. 2 Men in Black 2 is very like Ghostbusters 2, where they're just like, let's just recycle everything and call it a new movie. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, could you not?
Yeah.
And then 3 didn't. 3 was a weird time travel movie.
That'd be fun to watch.
Yeah. Hey guys, I recommend Men in Black 3.
Oh.
It's fun.
Matt's Movie Corner.
Boom. Matt's Movie Corner. Can you give me a cool stinger?
Me. Like, like a synth behind your voice.
Oh, yeah.
I can do that.
Cool beans. All right, let's do the other wrap-ups, yeah? We kind of got in the weeds here.
Yes.
Let's shut her down.
Wrap-ups.
Ralph.
What?
Thank you for our theme song, Harkzilla.
You're welcome.
Thank you for editing and producing the show.
You're welcome for that, too.
Good. I do have to rethink our sexy and sophisticated patrons, like the Shogun warlords of feudal Japan or the Klingon warlord. Let me start over. Pretty please. This is a little tongue twister. Like the Shogun warlords of feudal Japan or the Klingon warriors of the Alpha Quadrant, we would gladly fall on our own swords before ever bringing dishonor to their names.
Yes.
Be sure to visit monstersconquertheworld.com for more monster-mashing kaiju craziness. Got an Ultraman review coming out this month, and hopefully the King Kong 76 review coming out this month.
Cool.
Might be biting off more than I can chew, but that's what I'm trying for.
That's what we're always doing.
Yeah, doing our best. You can follow us on Twitter at Monsters Conquer. We have a Facebook group. It's facebook.com/monstersconquertheworld. Monstersconquertheworld.com also has the open invite to the Discord, so you can jump in there and yickety yak with us about shit. Hey, Ralph.
What?
How are the kids?
Good.
Cool.
Was that all?
Yeah.
Oh, that's all you wanted to know?
I usually ask you about Hellscape, but I'm like, hey,
how are the kids?
Ralph is more than a record label. He's a human being with feelings and family. If you like what you hear and want to achieve total consciousness like our patrons have, go to www.patreon.com/monstersconquer and become a patron. All patrons get access to a top secret patrons only Discord lounge. At the $5 level, you get access to our shadow episodes. If you jump on the $25 level, you can pick the topic of an episode. That's some real shit. You can do that.
That's amazing.
Even if,
I can't believe we're even offering that.
So far, it's been pretty choice,
good,
though.
yeah.
It's been pretty dope. I know. We are kind of rolling the dice on that, aren't we?
Yep. Well,
we have veto power.
We would get veto power, yeah, but we've been served up some gold.
We're 2 for 2.
Yep.
In my book. But you know what? Hey, what if you can't become a paid patron? Well, guess what? You can still help us out a shit ton. You can subscribe. You can rate us. You can share us on social media. You can tell your friends. You can drill through the Antarctic ice shelf, discovering a 14-legged shape-shifting murder puss and crossbreed it with me and Ralph's DNA.
I'd be up for that.
Right? It'd be pretty fucking cool.
I mean, it wouldn't become us. It would be like separate.
Yeah, but it would have like our personalities. And maybe like...
I don't need another one of these.
maybe you would have like your personality, but like my facial hair on an octopus.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
That'd be kind of cool, right?
I mean, let's just try it and see.
Try it and see, guys. So please send us your 14. Send me your Quattrodectopus DNA, and we'll get that thing popping off. Hey, let's see what's lurking in the shadows, shall we?
Oh, yes. I think it's going to be some choose your own adventure books.
It is. Oh yeah, I guess we should just say I'm really excited about our shadow episode this time because I'm going to read a choose your own adventure book, and we're going to see if Ralph survives it.
Maybe if it's too short, we might swap too.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, it might not even be too short. You might die really soon because the body count.
That's
and
what I'm
choose
saying.
choose your own adventure books are brutal.
Yeah.
No matter what, adventures will be chosen in the shadow episode.
Yep.
I'm gesturing way too much. I just realized that's probably weird to sit across from.
Video.
Yeah, video would be fun. Signed a Corda.